What's up guys, Shane here. So I'm going to go over my 3D printer design challenge, the printer I created, which is right here, Master Crane. And again, I want to give you guys a little reference of what you can submit, which is pretty much going to be this video. So let's dive in and see what it looks like. Okay, so here's Master Crane. I just gave it a name because it was kind of fun. I even created a little logo for it right here. Again, little fun thing. It's like kind of like a paper mache design, and I included my own logo in here. Figured out how to make an SVG of my maker coin and emboss that into it. Now, Master Crane is a cantilever design, which means that it only has one Z support, and the X-axis kind of just hangs out there on the one side. Obviously, in a cantilever, one side is anchored. And the build volume is 172 by 177 by 200 millimeters tall. The goal was 100 millimeter cube. I was able to do that. The total of this without the auto bed leveling was $124. With auto bed leveling, I was able to get this to $127. My only issue with that is that these magnetic sheets are not actually they don't work with inductive sensor, which I thought they did, and other people thought they did, but maybe I'm just an idiot. But either way, it doesn't work with this. So without ABL, $124. I hope to get one of those quick little spring steel sheets, because this is just a magnet pad on here, and having that on there will make the ABL work, which will be cool. But again, it doesn't have to have it. It's just, I mean, it's a tiny bed. It was just kind of a feature like, ooh, look what I can do. That's kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, obviously everything here, custom design. I'm using a MKS Robin E3 V1. So an early version board, but it's only 20 bucks with TMC 2209s. So I have sensorless homing on the X and the Y axis, which is really nice. I created the bed myself out of some 3mm aluminum sheets bought off of eBay. They were like $3 each with, I think, free shipping as well. So that was really, really cheap to get. And this top one I didn't cut down at all, but the bottom one I did cut. See, like these slots in here, so I can get the belt closer. You get more movement the more you cut that down. I did the same thing in the back here for the same reason. And again, also to try and help clear the motor a little bit, but it does hit the motor. It would be nice if I could figure that out, like maybe make this cut more, but I was okay with that. I'm a huge fan of cable management, so I have a cable chain here. This never gets in the way. It's anchored here. Everything's anchored to my frame. Another one here for ABL. I was testing it, but it didn't work. But yeah, here's everything for the X-axis. Well, I'm sorry, this is not for the X. This is just all of the extruder, basically. So the extruder comes into here, and then all the my hot end comes down to here. It's a very simple design. I took this design, very similar approach does the Hypercube. I didn't like having like the fan mount in the back, so I decided to mount it here. And I've got a ring. Can I get under there? Yeah, you gotta see how it goes around the hot end there, my nozzle. This is just a basic full graphic LCD. I tried using the MKS one. It doesn't work with this board yet, so that was a bummer. But this is a 24-volt power supply. It's a full-size one. As you can see, it's, I mean, mostly power supply down there, and it's anchored through my feet here. My feet are printed in TPU, which is a nice little feature, and they kind of just like embed in. See, they kind of just fit in there, and I just used a little swatch of hot glue to hold them in, and then you can see the mounting holes there that go to the power supply. But again, everything's managed underneath. I was a little worried of cables catching on these leads, the bed leveling nuts here, bed leveling screws, sorry, but they don't, since I keep that nice and tidy there, and that gets held down. I still have the ZN stop there. Again, I was just testing the ABL. I'm going to reconnect that, and that'll work again. But yeah, again, really happy with this. I use an eccentric nut right here in order to be able to adjust the tension of the Z-axis against here, so there's no wobble whatsoever. I mean, the whole table wobbles, but this thing is actually quite strong. It's quite hefty, to be honest, because the power supply's there. It's a pretty hefty printer. That's a fuse switch, so I got all the safety precautions in there as well, which is really good. I'm using a flex coupler. This was really cheap. This is just a piece of 300 threaded, I'm sorry, not threaded rod, lead screw. It's a couple bucks. I would love to have an integrated Z just to make alignment easier and not have to worry about a spring coupler, but didn't have that. that's okay. Again, not a huge deal. I'm using a Bondtech clone, which is mounted through here. So order of operations, mount all this, and then mount this to the Z. Also having this mounted, so really need to think out how I was mounting all of this when I actually went to do it, because I was honestly getting a little confused. But yeah, I mean, it works fine. Well, I guess. You guys be the judge of that. Here, I'm going to show you a print now. So this is the last bench sheet I got off of there. You see, I got a little bit of wisps in there. So traction's not quite right. There is this bump up here, which I can't figure out for the life of me what that is. I flipped the Z-Rod. There's a bump somewhere in there, and I can't figure out what in the world it is. Sorry, the focus is going crazy on me. And then I've got the Hall bump here, which is pretty common with poor cooling. So obviously my fan shroud needs to be adjusted. It's good. I mean, obviously things look pretty great there. I mean, ghosting is a little tiny bit there, but almost not there at all. But yeah, so traction a little bit more, a little bit tuned better, and I need to redesign my fan shroud. I just don't think my holes are big enough in it. And obviously my first layer was way too close. But yeah, I mean, I am happy with this print. I think for a $130 DIY 3D printer, I honestly think that's pretty good. And this is just PLA. This machine could do PETG if I get like that PI coated piece of spring steel would be cool. Or I have a BuildTak flex plate system laying around. It would make this bigger than what it is now, but it would still work. I'm very undecided on what I want to do at the end of that. Oh, I do have this print too. So I did also do the Night. What's on here? Here we go. So I did this Night Girl. I've had it for a long time, but I mean, it looks good. I mean, again, we're rating a $130 printer, DIY printer that I designed. We're not rating a Prusa, an Ender 3, Sidewinder X1. Like, we're rating this little jankness. So I honestly think that the printing is really good. Obviously, I'm biased. I'd love to hear what you guys think about it. Let me know. I mean, there's no layer shifts. Again, a little bit of wispiness, so retraction is close but not quite there. Maybe temperature's a little off for this one filament, but I think that came out really good in my opinion. So what did you guys think of that? That is my little $130 3D printer, less than 130 bucks. Again, I'm really biased. I think it came out great. I'm very proud of what I made. I learned a ton in Fusion 360 with making this, which was also kind of a big goal, was take the summer when no one's really doing much and, learn something. Fusion is a great tool to learn. You can do so much with it if you just take some time, put your mind to a project, which I was kind of doing that. I wanted to put people's mind to something other than the pandemic. Like, times are tough. Think of something creative, learn something new. And I hope that you guys did. So thank you for watching this. I hope to see your submissions really soon. Have a good night.